Okay, we are live on YouTube.
We're ready to go, Colton.
Yep, ready to go whenever.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
My volume on my end, hearing you, is not very loud.
You might be able to adjust the volume with the side buttons.
Okay, now say something.
All right, is that any better?
Oh, yes, thank you.
All right.
Good morning. I am Rebecca Sander and serve as chair of the Investigative Committee of the Kansas State Board of Nursing. I ask the members of the Investigative Committee to respond to a roll call to signify their presence at this open meeting being conducted by electronic means. Jade Ramsdell.
Present.
Juliana Rechek.
Present.
I ask the following board staff members to respond. Linda Davies, practice specialist.
Present.
Victoria Bond, administrative specialist.
Present.
Kara Moreland, executive director. Is Carol on? No, okay. I would also ask that the assistant attorneys general assigned to the board also to respond. Will Skepnick.
Present.
Janet Arndt.
Present.
We sent notice of the meeting of the investigative committee to all individuals who have requested notice of the committee's meetings. The notice included the agenda for today's meeting. Additionally, the agenda and packet were posted on the board's website, ksbn.kansas.gov. You may obtain a copy of the agenda and packet at the website. You can also request a copy of the notice, agenda, and packet by sending an email to Carol Moreland at ks.gov with the subject line, request for the agenda, and it will be sent to you. Public comment allows the public to address the investigative committee about its concerns, but the Kansas Open Meetings Act, does not require the investigative committee to provide public comment or answer questions from individuals. As we will not know what comments an individual may make, we would want to provide notice to the public of our intent to discuss a particular matter so that the public may listen and observe our discussion. Public comment will not be taken today due to the concern, and because this is a meeting conducted by Zoom where the connection may be lost and the time for the meeting may not allow everyone who is present to comment. Because we are conducting this public meeting remotely by Zoom, I state for the record the following information. On September 28th, 2020, the board sent notice of the meeting for the investigative committee to all individuals who have requested notice of the committee's meetings. The agenda was attached to the notice and contains the link and password to the Zoom webinar that allow the public to attend this meeting free of charge. Additionally, the agenda and packet were posted on the board's website, ksbn.kansas.gov. You may obtain a copy of the agenda and the packet at that website or by sending an email to Kara Moreland at ks.gov with the subject line, request for the agenda, and the board staff will send it to you. Effective June the 9th, 2020, House Bill 2016 ratified Governor Kelly's emergency declaration due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and the emergency declaration was extended by the State Finance Council to October the 15th, 2020, but the requirements of COMA were not suspended. We will be conducting this meeting pursuant to COMA and KAR 16-20-1 concerning compliance with the COMA during an emergency declaration. The remote webinar by Zoom is the only medium for interactive communication offered for this meeting. Each member of the committee, board staff, or presenter shall state the person's name and title each time the person speaks or votes. Each participant to this meeting shall ensure microphones, phones, or other electronic devices are on mute when the participant is not speaking. Each motion will be clearly stated before the committee votes, and the chair will announce the result of the final vote. and a statement or motion will clearly identify and authorize by delegation each member of the committee or staff who will be permitted to sign any document on behalf of the board. The meeting is being recorded and the recording will be posted to the board's website. The committee has the following items listed on its agenda: call to order, review of on-site packets, additions or revisions to the agenda, executive session, reconvene the meeting for action, adjournment. As noted above, the agenda includes an executive session. If the committee elects to exercise the option of going into an executive session, the committee will follow this process. First, the committee must be in an open session before going into executive session. A member of the committee must make a motion, and the motion must be seconded and passed by a majority of the committee. The motion must contain a statement of justification for closure and the subjects to be discussed pursuant to KSA 75-4319B and the time and place the open meeting will resume. If a motion for executive session passes, the public will be excluded from the executive session portion of the meeting, as it will be conducted by electronic means that will not be made available to the public. The members of the committee will return to the Zoom meeting when time for the executive session expires. The meeting will resume when time for the executive session expires and the members of the committee return to the Zoom connection. The complete motion for an executive session will be recorded in the minutes. The meeting is now called to order and the committee will consider the next item on its agenda. Next, we have review of on-site packets. Did everybody get those in there? Are there any additions?
I just want to point out we've got a phone user that's joined us. I'm not sure who it is.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any additions or revisions to the agenda? If none, we will now move into executive session.
Is there a committee member who would like to make a motion for executive session?
Victoria, can you read that motion, please?
Yeah, so I do need to know how long you guys want to do that. Like when you want to come back.
This is Janet. I think probably 40 minutes. What do you think, Will?
I think that sounds appropriate.
Yeah, if we need more, we always come back in and take another executive session, but we can probably finish it or get close to finishing it, I think, in 40 minutes.
Okay, so about 10:20.
10:22.
Okay. So this is
Sounds
Victoria
good.
Bond, the administrative specialist. I move that the investigative committee recess into executive session for 40 minutes.
Nope. Hold on. A board member needs to make the motion. So one of the committee members, not. Otherwise, we need to restart the way you're doing the motion. It would be
Victoria, this is Juliana Reshik, and I will make the motion. You can put my name in there.
Okay. So Juliana, pursuant to KSA 75-4319B2, moves that the investigative committee recess into executive session for 40 minutes and reconvene at 10:22 a.m. The remote meeting will be reconvened by Zoom as stated in the agenda that was attached to the notice of the board meeting that was sent to individuals who requested the notice and be published on the board's website, www.ksbn.ks.gov. The justification is consultation with the board's legal counsel, Assistant Attorney Generals William Skepnick and Janet Arndt, that would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship. The subject matter to be discussed in the executive session concerns the board's delegation of its authority under the Kansas Administrative Procedures Act. The board's executive administrator, Carol Moreland, is included as the client.
Is there a second to that motion?
Jade Ramsdell, I second that motion.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? not, we will move. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Motion carried. We will now adjourn and resume at 10:22. Is that correct, Victoria? You said 10:22?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. everybody back?
Is that Carol on the telephone? Because she indicated she's having problems with her computer.
Yes, this is me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I just seem to have a lot of problems today. Sorry.
That's okay. Just wanted to check.
Right, right.
We're all here, aren't we?
I think so, but Colton, are we ready to move forward?
Oh, sorry. Yes, you're good to go.
Oh, sorry. I was waiting for you to give us the thumbs up. Okay. Sorry. Okay. For my agenda.
Maybe I can help. I think consensus is reached to continue with the delegation motions that the board made at its September meetings and not to, is that correct? That's okay. So then I think the only thing left to do is if maybe you want to direct, you don't need a motion because you're not taking final action, but I think you're directing staff then to take the cases where a probable cause or a reasonable grounds determination has already been made on pending cases and put those in for further CAPA proceedings. Is that what you want to do? Direct staff to do that?
Is that correct, committee? Juliana and Jade?
I think Juliana, you're muted.
Sorry, thank you. I do think that's correct. I have a couple clarifying questions. Is this an appropriate time to ask those?
Are you wanting to go back for legal advice or just maybe ask your question and then we'll decide if you want to do executive session?
Is it kind of a process question,
Yes.
Juliana?
Yes.
That's
Yeah, I
what I
think
thought.
that's, yeah, we don't need executive session if it's a
Right.
process.
It's- I have a couple processing questions too, but okay, so go ahead, Juliana, what you're thinking.
Well, we receive our book for investigative committee and we go through that book and I make notes about my thoughts on the individual cases. And then as we come together in the quasi judicial, at that point, we will separate between those needing further proceedings and then those that require no action.
Right, when you come out of the quasi judicial deliberations, you make the motion on those cases that have a reasonable grounds determination, and those will be the cases that are pulled out.
Okay. And so then at that point, we would come back to our meeting and conclude our meeting, which, you know, from that perspective, I could see where that would be a faster process. We may be able to conclude the investigative committee in maybe hours rather than days. But then we would move into CAPA discussions for those that would need further proceedings. Is Jade
Correct.
and Becky, is that your understanding as well?
I think so.
That is also my understanding, yes.
Okay.
The main thing is when you get done with your quasi judicial deliberations, that you make a motion that the reasonable grounds are there for these specific cases.
Right.
And if those cases will be set over for further proceedings under CAPA. And then
Right.
at that, then you can take those cases out and put them in CAPA. Because that's the process.
That clarifies my questions. Are you okay, Juliana? That
Yes,
clarify?
yes, thank
Yeah,
you
I mean,
very
I think-
much.
I think the
We may have
decision, I think the decision then you need to decide, is it for the December meeting? Do you want to direct staff to pull the cases you've already made a CAPA reasonable grounds decision on? So that way you won't have as many in your book. If
So
you-
we've already made those reasonable grounds and established what our expectations were for further proceedings. So for December, we would, I mean, they will be all new cases unless there was some issue with something where, you know, a few might come back, but we don't see too many of those typically.
But I mean, this is, as I understand, this is going to be a new direction for staff so do you want those cases pulled out for the December meeting, I guess is my question, so that they know to do that. Because I think in the past, they've been putting them in when the statute says,
So if there is a case that we've discussed and that we have determined there's probable cause, then yes, absolutely. I think it could be pulled out and held for the CAPA discussions if there's a change. But if it's a new case that we haven't
Correct.
reviewed yet, then it would still need to be in the book and we're making that determination.
Right.
And the staff, if they have any questions, could work with Will on figuring out where a case belongs if they're uncertain.
Linda, does that make sense to you?
I will work with Will.
Good answer.
I would say, yeah, I'll work with Will.
Well, it seems like it's workable. It's a new process. So, you know, until we, like you said, work with Will to see what it looks like. Juliana and I just want to know what it's going to look like. But I think it's going to work.
Okay, so is there anything else, or anything else you want to address, or are we done?
Anybody else have any comments? Well, do you think that's going to impact your daily workload any differently? Reshuffling this process a little bit as far as interfacing with investigators?
I would say initially no, but we'll see how it.
Okay. So that's what I thought. I think we have to
down the
see.
road. Yeah.
Yeah. Bill, is that all from everybody? Is there a motion to adjourn?
This is Jade Ramsdell. I make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second, Becky. This is Juliana.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Meeting is adjourned.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
everybody.
Thank
Thank you.
Bye.